This is what I wish I knew on day one of this challenge. For 30 days, I decided to completely ditch the elevator. I thought it would be a simple fitness experiment, a way to move a little more in my daily routine. But what I discovered was much deeper. Using the stairs changes more than just your legs. It's a quiet change that creeps into every part of your life. It affects your sleep, how well you rest at night. It affects your focus, how clearly you tackle your tasks. It affects how you move through your building, how you see space and time. And yes, the numbers, the cold, hard facts, show it in a way I never imagined. But the real change, the turning point, came on day 21. For this experiment to work, I set up some very simple rules. The main one was obvious: no using the elevator for 30 days in a row, not to go up to my apartment on the 5th floor, and not to move between the 8 floors of my office. The only exception I allowed myself was if I needed to carry something very heavy or bulky, like my weekly groceries or a large package. Luckily, that only happened once. Before starting, I did an honest self-check. My activity level was moderate, with some gym visits, but I relied completely on the elevator. I often felt lazy and low on energy in the mid-afternoon. That was my starting point. To make the challenge fair, I tracked everything with a fancy wearable device, a 2026 model. I didn't want to rely just on how I felt. I wanted data. I measured my resting heart rate and my heart rate during exercise to see how my heart was getting stronger. I measured my endurance, or rather, how quickly I recovered after each climb. I measured the total height I climbed to see the effort in a clearer way. Plus, I tracked my sleep quality, how much deep and REM sleep I got, and used a journal app to rate how focused I was at the end of each workday. With all this data, I was ready to begin. The first week was, in a word, pain. A constant muscle ache in my legs and glutes that I hadn't felt in years. Every flight of stairs was a reminder of how little I moved. But the physical pain wasn't the only thing. There was also a strange social awkwardness. Seeing my coworkers get into the elevator while I headed for the stairwell door led to questions. At first I felt a bit strange, like I was making a statement that no one had asked for. But little by little, that feeling just became a normal routine. The second week brought temptation. The memory of the first pain had faded, but so had the newness. One day, I was late for an important meeting on the top floor. I saw the elevator doors open, empty, waiting for me. It was an inner battle for a few seconds, but I remembered my promise and headed for the stairs, taking 2 at a time. But the second week also brought small wins. I remember perfectly the day I reached my floor at the office and realized I wasn't out of breath. I could greet my colleague in a normal voice, without gasping. It was an amazing feeling, a clear sign that my body was getting used to it. By the middle of the month, around day 15, I hit a plateau. The physical progress wasn't as clear anymore, and my motivation started to slip. Climbing stairs had become a boring chore. I knew I needed a new approach to keep from giving up. So, I turned it into a game. Gamification was my lifesaver. I made motivating playlists, with songs whose beat helped me keep a steady rhythm. And I set clear daily step goals, using the badges and virtual trophies on my device as a boost. I was competing against my past self. This simple change in mindset turned a boring task into a daily challenge I looked forward to. And then, by day 21, something fundamentally changed. It wasn't a huge physical change, but something much more subtle and deep. It was like my body and mind finally synced up. I started noticing calmer mornings. The simple act of climbing the stairs when I arrived at the office became a transition ritual. It gave me a few minutes to clear my head, to leave the rush of my commute behind and get ready for the day. I arrived at my desk not only physically awake, but mentally focused. This led to clearer meetings. My ability to focus improved a lot. Instead of feeling that mid-afternoon energy slump, I felt alert and involved. Ideas flowed more easily. And most surprising of all, better sleep at night. My wearable device confirmed it. My deep sleep phases increased by 15%. I fell asleep faster and woke up feeling truly rested. Day 21 was when I realized this wasn't a challenge about stairs, It was a challenge about overall well-being. At the end of the 30 days, it was time to look at the final data, and the results were amazing. The total elevation climbed was over 4,000 meters, like climbing a big mountain without leaving my city. The estimated calories burned just from this activity were over 9,000. My resting heart rate dropped 5 beats per minute, a big improvement in heart health. And the time it took for my heart rate to recover after climbing a flight of stairs went down by 30%. The data didn't lie. The change was real and could be measured. If you want to try this experiment, you don't need a complicated plan. Start small. If you work on a very high floor, take the elevator halfway and walk the rest of the way up the stairs. Take every chance you get. In the subway, in shopping malls, wear comfy shoes. And if you're worried about safety, make sure your building's stairs are well lit and used by others. The key is to make these small habits part of your routine until they become automatic. Looking back at these 30 days, I realized that the biggest benefit wasn't losing weight or getting better numbers, even though those were great. The real change was turning a passive waiting moment in the elevator into an active investment in my health. Now, choosing the stairs doesn't feel like something I have to do, but an opportunity. It's a real habit I can keep up, not because I should, but because I want to. Think about how powerful these small changes can be when they add up. A heart that works better, faster recovery that gives you more energy, and deeper sleep that fixes your body and mind. All of this just by choosing a different path. This isn't a fitness trick, it's a life strategy. So I'm giving you a challenge. You don't have to give up the elevator for 30 days. Just try to check your convenience for 1 week. Pay attention to all the times you choose the easy way, and ask yourself, what would happen if you chose the slightly more active way? Track how you feel. The data, both from your watch and your own feelings, might surprise you.